What's up guys, Zaxby Sauce aka Confused Insurgent here. Welcome back to another episode of Will It Game. I think this is episode like 9 or 10 now. I'll have to look to make sure after I get done filming here, but I'm pretty sure the last episode was episode 8, so that would make this episode 9, possibly even episode 10. A few things to go over before we get started. First of all, there will be a GPU giveaway on this video. I will be giving away the HD 7870 Myst Edition, and I don't know if that's related to the game Myst or if it's just coincidence that this is MYST. It's a PCS, which is like a Power Color Systems, I think, before they just changed their name to Power Color. It's a PCS HD 7870 Myst. So if you like HD 7870s and you love puzzle video games that your grandparents will be familiar with, this is the video card for you. So the 7870 right here will be given away. I'm going to try a giveaway program called Gimme It. I'll have a link in the description. In order to enter this time, instead of just commenting and then I have to do the random number generator and so on and so forth, what you're going to do is you're going to follow the link in the description to the Gimme It website. You're going to follow the instructions in order to enter the contest. It's going to, I don't think you have to register for it. I think you just need to follow the instructions. It's going to ask you, for instance, it's going to suggest you subscribe to the video. There's no way to enforce that, but I would like everyone who enters to be a subscriber, or if you're not a subscriber, think about subscribing, because there is a lot of content you can see on my channel and more of these giveaways coming up in future. If you want to be alerted about them, you need to be a subscriber. Also, make sure you comment, like, share, and all that on the video itself. That's also not enforced, but much appreciated. It helps get exposure for the video out there. So make sure to like and comment, and then also share it on your various platforms. Gimme It will also possibly ask you to follow me on Twitter. I set up a Twitter account upon the request of several of my viewers. So that's called Zaxby Tweet, Z-A-X-B-Y Tweet. You can follow me there on Twitter. That way you'll have updates on when videos are posted, what content I'm working on, and it gives us a little more back and forth. That way we can communicate a little better. So the Gimme It contest will probably ask you to follow me on Twitter as well. Once you have done those 2 steps, you will then be officially entered into the giveaway. It has a set time limit. So the giveaway will officially end at midnight on Thursday the 12th. That will give a little less than a week for everyone to enter, which is about what I'm going to do on most of these giveaways, so we can have a little more exposure and make sure there's plenty of time for everyone to enter that wants to enter. So we had almost 80 entries on the last giveaway. Stay78 was the winner of the 950. This card right here is going to be shipped out to him on Monday morning, so he'll be having that in his hands sometime next week. He sent me over, he's building a system with a Core i3. He's got 8 gigs of RAM in there, and i3-8100, an 8th gen i3, a 370 motherboard, because you can't get any budget motherboards for the 8th gen Intel chips yet, which is ridiculous, but that's another scenario. So all he's waiting on is a GPU, and the 950 will be on its way, and he will be good to go. We want new people to get into gaming, so it's great that that's what he's doing. Also, Xavier Frost won the $5 Steam gift card part of the 950 giveaway. So congratulations to him again. Harish Kumar won the GT 1030 from the previous giveaway. Also, Steph DeMulemeister won the 750 Ti. And King H was our original giveaway winner, winning the first 750 Ti that I gave away in the first giveaway. So congratulations again to all those people, and then the brand new winner, Stay78. Also, if you go and watch the new hardware help video, it's episode 1 of hardware help on reinstalling a GPU heatsink. There is a Steam gift card giveaway going on that one right now. That's still going. Probably not going to end until Monday or Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday. I haven't really decided yet on when that one's going to end. But there are 2 Steam gift cards up for grabs in that. So go in there, drop a comment, letting me know you want to enter, and then I will enter you into the contest. So good luck to everyone that's doing that right now. Another thing to go over before we start the official video, we've had a lot of great ideas for new content come in from viewers. So keep that up. I really enjoy that. I pretty much try to reply on every comment that's dropped on the videos. So if you want to have some back and forth, you have some questions, concerns, anything like that, drop those in a comment and I'll be happy to reply to those. So I'm actually working on videos now with the comments that people have left with suggestions. So for instance, How To Technology, Hari Prasad, Piano Lover, and Aditya Sinha all left, and I probably murdered some of those names, but that's all right. All left great ideas for video content, and I am working on those videos now. So just because you're leaving a comment on YouTube that you think will never get seen, I do see them, and if it's a good idea, I will put it into practice, and it's a video I'll make. So keep that in mind. Drop those ideas down below. Let's move on to today's video, the HD 7870. There are 5 parts to these Will It Game videos. We have the introduction, which we just ran through. We have an overview of the card itself, the HD 7870. We have an overview of the benchmarks that I'm going to use. We'll then go to the benchmark results. They'll be each on the screen for about 5 seconds, although in today's Will It Game video, I think I'm actually going to put a few comments in there. I'm going to try to do some narration over the benchmark results to give you a more in-depth view into what each of the results means and how they relate to each other. So you'll be able to see and hear that during the benchmarking. Also, I'm working on getting gameplay footage added in there so you can kind of see how the card looks. It's a little difficult to get gameplay footage of each card itself because it means recording every single benchmarking round. So I may just do like generic gameplay footage so you can at least have an idea of what the card is running. After the benchmark results, we'll come back here for my conclusions and thoughts, and I'll tell you whether I think it's worth the purchase price that it's going to cost you today. So an overview of the card. As I said, this is the HD 7870 made by AMD/ATI. This is a power color card. PCS, as I said, it's a power color before they started going strictly by power color, but it does say power color right there on the fan. I just noticed that. So this card retails on eBay today in between $75 and $100, and the price has actually come down quite a bit from when I originally bought the card. Now's pretty much the time to buy. I don't know that they're going to get much cheaper than that because you're getting close to a 750 Ti territory, and these are a little bit faster than the 750 Ti's that you'll see later on. So this was released in March of 2012, and this was the Southern Islands family of GPUs. So your Tahitis at the top, which were your 7970s, 7950s. Right below them were your Pitcairn Island GPUs, and this is a Pitcairn. Now, some of you may be familiar, maybe history buffs, or perhaps even movie buffs or geography buffs, or perhaps you're just British, but the Pitcairn Islands are famous because the HMS Bounty, I don't know if it ran aground there or if it beached there, docked there. Not necessarily docked because they didn't have a dock at the time, but they were there for a time. During that time, the crew of the Bounty performed a mutiny against their captain and other officers, and decided to just stop and stay there and live there. So most of the people that are indigenous to the Pitcairn Islands are actually descendants of the original crew that mutineered on the HMS Bounty, along with some Tahitian people of Tahitian descent that were with them on the ship. So that's pretty cool. You might want to look at it. Also, don't look too far because there was like a big child sex scandal that went on Pitcairn. So don't go there, certainly, but you could. It's a kind of interesting historical footnote, so maybe take a look at that on Wikipedia if that interests you. Again, though, stay away from the child sex scandal stuff because that's not good. Obviously, we don't support that here, by the way. Just to have an official statement out there in the ether, the Confused Insurgent and the Will It Game series does not support that kind of behavior. So going back to the video card, being done with Pitcairn, it has 1280 stream processors, 80 texture units, and 32 ROPs. So it's pretty decent. It's a cut down. It's not the same chip as a 7970. Obviously, it's a different GPU, but it is also a far less capable GPU in general. The core clock kind of, it goes up and down depending on whether you're talking about a reference card or a OEM card. In this case, the reference card was about 1000 megahertz. It was the 7870 gigahertz edition is what it was released as. OEM cards could see up to like 1100 megahertz, something like that. With default, it came with 2 gigabytes of GDDR5 clocked at 4.9 gigahertz, and that's pretty much across all of them. 4.8, 4.9, that's about the speed you were getting on the memory on a 256-bit memory interface. What's important about that is that's a pretty hefty, that's a pretty wide memory interface, and so you're not going to have any sort of memory interface bottlenecks like you do with the 128-bit cards that are often in this same price range. Especially with like NVIDIA, these kind of cards in this kind of price range would usually be around their 6 series, so like your 960s, your 760s, etc. And a lot of the times those have have the 128-bit memory interface. Now, especially if you drop down to like the 5 series, you know, your 550s, your 650s, your 750s, etc., those often and almost always have 128-bit memory interfaces, and your 7850, which would be equivalent to your 5 series. This is a 7870, which would be equivalent to about your 6 series. The 7850s still had the 256-bit memory interface. So that was a big boon on AMD's side for these cards. So it had a TDP of about 190 watts. Realistically, it was closer to 175 watts, but it would require 2 6-pin PCIe power connectors in pretty much any format you're looking at. And then also, MSRP was about 350 bucks. So not bad, not at the low end certainly, and really at the upper end of the mid-range price bracket. Now what's interesting about these cards, as you might remember from my 7970 video, AMD used this 7 series GPU over and over and over. They really just did not want to spend the R&D and the money required to redevelop an entirely new GPU, and this is graphics core next. It's their big push. This would be the chip that would take them on into the future. So that was their plan from the beginning. It's not like a cost-saving measure that they implemented because they lost money at some point. They planned from the beginning to use this core over and over into the future. It was their next graphics core, or GCN, graphics core next. So this is actually the same exact chip that's used in the R9 270 and 270X, and the R9 370 and 370X, and the R7 370. So this same chip, it has a slight rename in some of those. It's called something slightly like, it's called Curacao R9 270X. It's the same chip. It's just a slightly overclocked version of this Pitcairn chip. So when you're thinking about performance for the 7850, 7870, it's essentially going to be a 270 or a 270X, but slightly slower because those are overclocked a little bit. On the benchmarking side, we have a combination of real world and synthetic benchmarks, heavily weighted towards the real world side because that's the kind of thing you really care about. The synthetics can give you a good idea of comparison, so you can compare and contrast between different video cards using synthetics, but real worlds are really what you want to see. So we have 2013's Tomb Raider and its 2015 sequel Rise of the Tomb Raider, 2013's Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor and its 2017 sequel Middle-earth Shadow of War, 2015's Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, and 2017's Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands, 2016's Deus Ex Mankind Divided, 2016's Doom, 2016's Steep, and brand new added last Will It Game video, 2018's Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5. I know how to speak. Doom runs in OpenGL by default, which is an open source competitor to Direct3D, which is developed by Microsoft. But it also has a Vulkan option, which is a new API, which was built from the ground up to make video frame rates higher and more smooth. It's a much lower level, easier to use API, essentially. And then Rise of the Tomb Raider and Deus, they also have DirectX 12 benchmarks, which is Microsoft's version of Vulkan, essentially, a low-level API that should increase frame rates and reduce overhead. So then on the synthetic side, we have 3D Mark's Firestrike and TimeSpy graphics card score only. We don't want any CPU to have an effect on the score here. And then Unigen Superposition, Valley, and Heaven synthetic benchmarks. So all that being said, let's jump right over into the benchmark results, and then we'll come back here afterwards for my thoughts and conclusions. See you then. Hey guys, these are the specs of the system. Haven't changed in a while. So let's jump right into the gaming results. Rise of the Tomb Raider, you can see that all the way up to high, it's pretty capable. Shadow of War, same kind of thing. Medium, it's good. High, probably okay. Really can't handle very high or high in Wildlands. You want to stick to medium on that. Shadow of Mordor and Tomb Raider, obviously it's going to play those fine. Those are very old at this point. Deus is playable at all resolutions and settings, because it's a pretty slow game regardless. And same with Tom Clancy's Siege. It's an older game. It's fine all the way up to very high, even 71 FPS. Steep, you probably want to stick with medium or high. At Ultra, it dips down below 30, and that's too low. Far Cry Primal, actually, all the way up to very high is pretty good. You can see Doom is playable on high and on Vulkan. No problems there. Far Cry 5 is actually playable on high, which I was pretty surprised about. That's a 2018 release. Overclocking results, look at all those increases, especially in titles like Siege and Primal. Overall charts, it's about in the middle where you'd think, right with the 270X. And then performance per dollar, it's actually pretty good. Look, it's pretty much the lowest one out of all those. It's pretty crazy. The price drops, I think, are really helping it, the $75 current price. Over on the synthetic side, you can just mainly see what the overclocking did to all the results here. There's not much to be taken out of these on their own. All right, we're back. So as you can see, the 7870 is really battling it out with the 950 in a lot of these scenarios. There are some where the 950 is going to be a little faster, and there's some where the 7870 is going to be a little faster. The thing the 950 has going for it is it is a much less power hungry and less hot card. So if either one of those two conditions are important ones for you, so you have a lower end power supply, you have an OEM power supply that only has a very limited amount of power output, or if you have one that doesn't have any PCIe power connectors, for instance, a 950 or a 750 Ti or even a 1050, those are going to be your best bets. You're going to want to go with the low power, low heat options. But if you don't have any of those constraints and you don't mind going with big red over big green, the 7870 is a worthy purchase. I have seen eBay listings for this as I was browsing through today to get the current prices. I've seen eBay listings as low as $60 or $65. If it hits that low, jump on it all day, every day. If that's your budget range, if you can spend, say, no more than 80 bucks on a card, it's going to be pretty difficult to get a 950 in that range. You're probably going to be looking at more 750 Ti's. And if you're talking 7870 versus 750 Ti, and you don't have the power and heat constraints talked about before, 7870 all day. It doesn't wipe the floor with a 750 Ti, but it is a clear winner in every single category over the 750 Ti. It definitely can game. It can play all of today's latest games, 1080p, medium to high, depending on the game. Mostly you're going to be in medium in the newer games, higher in the older games. And then the price range is pretty ridiculous. I don't know what happened recently. I know Ethereum just crashed, like maybe yesterday, day before yesterday, so GPU prices are going to start falling a little bit. You're going to see a lot of these miners are going to start dumping their cards on eBay, on Craigslist, on the used GPU market to try to get some of their investment back, because as soon as the market crashes, a lot of these guys aren't long-term investors, so they're going to think, I got to get out now while the getting's good before the market corrects itself completely. So you will see a lot of video cards put on eBay, and that's going to drive the price of everything back down, which is great for the gaming market. DDR4, unfortunately, is not affected by the mining craze and is still going to be expensive as hell for really no discernible reason, but that's a different story. At least GPU prices are going to start coming down. So like I said, 65 bucks, 75 bucks, even in the 80 to 100 range, jump on it. This is a great card. As long as you can fit these two 6-pin PCIe power connectors, it is a great card to have. That is it for today. Thank you for watching. Make sure you go down to the description below. Not only is there a link to a Google Docs spreadsheet that has all of the benchmarks so far done on there, so you can compare and contrast. If you're trying to buy one of these cards on eBay, take a look at that spreadsheet and compare them to each other and see, like, this is the game that I play a lot, or this is the kind of game that I play a lot. How does this card perform versus this card, etc., etc. There's also that link to the giveaway, the Gimme It giveaway down there. So hit the link. Follow the instructions, enter the giveaway, and win the 7870. One of you. Obviously, only one person's going to win the 7870. I mean, not everyone's going to win a 7870. But one person is guaranteed to win. Mostly guaranteed. Like, if I got hit by lightning tomorrow, you're not going to win the 7870. Sorry. But otherwise, as long as everything's going well, you will win the 7870. So, that's it for today. We have plenty more cards coming up. There's, let's see, there's plenty more giveaways coming up. I've still got another 950 I've got to give away. I've still got an R9 270X I'm going to give away. I'm still, let's see, there's like a 1050 here somewhere. There's an RX 560 here. There's like an R9 380. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of crap that's going to be good. It's going to go out to you gentlemen and ladies watching. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. Follow me on Zaxby Tweet on Twitter if you want up-to-the-minute updates. I haven't used Twitter in like 6 years, so I'll try to make sure to be hitting that with a lot of back and forth, a lot of content, a lot of updates on videos and such. Maybe some behind-the-scenes kind of photos and stuff. You can see that on there. But we've got like the Titans still coming up, and we've got the GTX 770 still coming up. 950s and SLI are coming up. So just stay tuned. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.